Hey guys, what's up? Son of Chelsea back here again for another video, and it's time for my weekly Premier League review show. In this show, I take some of the main talking points, in my opinion, highlights, in fact, from the weekend and discuss them. So let's get to it. Firstly, talking about Louis van Gaal. Once again, Manchester United losing this weekend at home to Southampton. It was kind of another dull game, another lethargic display from them, lacking creativity, and it was Charlie Austin, Southampton's newest signing, who scored the winner late on, and from there United couldn't recover. Now in the past, I thought Van Gaal was actually building something at United. I thought that maybe in a few years' time, he brought in some good young players, Luke Shaw, and Herrera. You got players like Juan Mata, they were a class on their day, Anthony Martial. So really, I think long term United have some really decent players there, but for some reason, Van Gaal isn't getting his tactics right. Creatively, they aren't doing a lot. Now, I personally don't think that Van Gaal is telling his players not to score, but clearly his tactics out there are very defensive-minded, and that isn't going to sit with the United fans, who now seem to have turned on Louis van Gaal. The reaction at full-time on Saturday, I think, proved a lot. And once the fans, especially United fans, once they start turning, once any fan base starts turning on their manager, the boards start realising stuff, it's negative for the club, and United take their image very seriously, a massive, massive club like United. So really, I do think that this is beginning to be the end of Louis van Gaal. I just think personally he's restricting a lot of United's most creative players, which isn't helping them, and look where they are on the table. I personally think they're going to struggle for top four. You've got Tottenham in there, who look better placed to even go higher than that. Leicester, Arsenal, City. Are United better than any of those teams this season? No. And that's the problem for United. United, once again, look like they're not going to be in the Champions League, which is a massive, massive blow for United. Next was the most craziest game. Now, unfortunately, I saw the start of this game. I saw up to where Naismith scored the second goal to put Norwich in front, but then I had to go in the car, so I was listening to it on the radio. That sounded crazy, the reactions, so I had to go and see it later, watch the highlights, and still, it was an absolutely crazy game. I've never seen a game like it. Defensively, both teams, there was no defending. There was absolutely no defending on that day. Now, the emotion Jurgen Klopp showed on that touchline when that fifth goal went in, I think just pretty much sums him up as a manager, and I think he's going to do wonders at Liverpool, in my opinion, once he gets the right players. If he can get the right players in, I think he really could do something at Liverpool, especially with that emotion, the connection he had with those players. But overall, I think this game pretty much sums up this Premier League season. Lacking quality, lots of goals, and lots of entertainment. Now, the fact is, this season has probably been, for a neutral fan and for clubs who don't usually feature in the top four, who sometimes maybe feel that the top four is kind of structured and, they can't break through that. This season is proving ever different to that. Clubs with the TV money coming in. And really, I do think there are massive positives to it. It's bringing in more attention to the Premier League. People love watching the Premier League because you never know what can happen on a day. 5-4. It's a crazy game. Now, I do think this will have some repercussions when the English teams go into Europe. I feel when English teams come up against the European sides, I do think that's where we'll see it start to fall into place, how low the quality has got to in the Premier League. Now, it's an exciting league. There is no doubt about that, but the quality clearly is lacking. And yeah, I mean, it's what you want, but I think that's what makes the Premier League probably the most exciting and the best in terms of the competitive nature of it. So let me know, guys, in the comments below, do you think the quality in the Premier League has dropped in this season? The fact that everyone's beating everyone. You have teams like Chelsea down in 14th. You have United struggling. Sure, I think it's better for entertainment, and definitely from a neutral perspective, it's a brilliant season to watch. Leicester being in the top four, I think that's a brilliant story. But do you think it will have a negative impact on the teams when we go into the Champions League, and then we get the whole issue of English teams can't compete in Europe? So really, let me know your guys' opinions in the comments below. Next is Chelsea beating Arsenal. It seems that Arsenal just cannot beat Chelsea. Chelsea, 14th place, go to the Gunners and win on Sunday at the Emirates Stadium. Now, as you know, there's going to be some personal bias with this, of course, with Chelsea being involved. But the fact is, I feel Arsenal did cause a lot of their own problems on Sunday. Mertesacker, whether you think, I do agree, Costa made a lot out of that challenge. But at the same time, I personally think it was a red. I think there was challenges. I think Mertesacker should have been smarter, should have thought to himself beforehand. And when he's making a challenge and looking at the linesman, I really do think it was a bad decision from Mertesacker, but as well from Wenger to play Mertesacker, who got exposed on that day. The pace just caught up with him in the end. Costa, I thought, had a brilliant game for Chelsea. He looks clinical now. If you look at his stats, he has 5 goals in his last 6 league games, which is definitely an amazing turnover for him. For Arsenal, it's not the end of the road. I think there's a lot of exaggeration that now they're just going to screw up the league and they're out the league title. I think that's really over-exaggerating from Arsenal fans. If you look at the table, if you look at the way the Premier League is going this season, anything can happen. So really, all Arsenal need to do is just pick up some form. But I think psychologically, mainly for the fan base and also for Arsene Wenger and the club, I think this will leave a bad taste in the mouth, because once again, Chelsea have got the better of Arsenal in a season where Chelsea have been so lacklustre and mediocre and have been able to go to the Emirates and turn Arsenal over. And lastly, let's talk about the team who are currently top of the Premier League, Leicester City. They aren't holding up, are they? They aren't going away. Everyone expected, well, now they're going to go away. And Vardy doesn't score for a couple of weeks. Now they're going to start to slow down. No. Beating Stoke convincingly 3-0, which is an impressive result. Jamie Vardy scored again. I think that's really good for him. Really a relief for Leicester after that long goal drought he had. You expected that to happen, but for him to come through it really does show the sign of a good striker. And I want to ask the question, can Leicester do it? Can Leicester win the Premier League? Personally, I want to see it happen. It'd be an amazing story to see a team like Leicester, who tipped somehow for relegation. Claudio Ranieri got all the criticism in the world in the summer when he got appointed by certain football experts. What if he goes and leads Leicester to the title? I think they're going to be a top 4 side. Whereabouts in that top 4, we don't know. It's very close. Tottenham, Arsenal, Manchester City and Leicester also close to each other. But I'd love to see Leicester go and win the Premier League. Do you think, guys, Leicester can win the Premier League? Let me know why or why not they will win the Premier League. I think it all comes down to their main players. If their main players stay fit, they have a really good chance the way the league is going. I think it would perfectly sum up the season if Leicester won the Premier League, in my opinion. So that has been it, guys, for this edition of my Premier League weekly review. Tell me your guys' thoughts on everything I've discussed. Also, other things that I didn't discuss, all the games, highlights from the weekend. Let me know, guys, in the comments below. Thank you, guys, so much for watching this video. You can follow me on Twitter, @SonOfChelsea, and I'll see you again.